so happy to see you landing straight from the aircraft. Here is Tom coming. So today we'll be talking about something very important. Hi, my friend. We'll be talking about family connection, and our next topic is a very interesting one. Stay tuned. We're gonna take us with you. Come on.
All right.
How was the flight?
Oh, our flight is going awesome.
It was awesome.
Because we're having so much fun living this pranic journey.
That's right. It's really great.
And prana's everywhere. All up in the air, all up in the horizon, even down on the earth.
Exactly.
We live in it. It's constantly regenerating the earth, and it's regenerating all life on earth.
Absolutely. No matter where you are, where you live, the environment is always nourishing, and you can always find great spots where to extract that energy from all around you, really.
Oh, absolutely. We're never cut off from it.
That's right.
This is like a living consciousness, an imagination that we're living in. Mm-hmm. And it's given us so much vitality, so much growth.
That's
when
right.
you recognize it, you can't beat this. Now today we're going to talk about finances.
Absolutely. Very interesting topic, the finances, within the family unit connection.
Oh, absolutely. Now when you think of finances, don't think that this is a modern day thing. There's always been some level of exchange dealing with human beings.
Yeah.
Some type of, how should we say, give and take.
That's right, yes. The energy flowing this way.
Right. So even when you look at a community that says it shares and everything, people are giving up their abilities for the whole.
That's right.
So it always exists on what we're talking about. So it's how we use these, and when we look at the modern day finances, no matter what society you're in, it has pervaded and covered the whole earth.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't care what island you're in, what tribe you're in, and even there's some tribes right now, this is actually their last time actually being on that type of level as a tribe.
That's right. Yeah. It
We
has
might
to
as well
evolve.
face it.
Yeah, it has to change. A shift that has to happen.
Absolutely. So now we're going to talk about the Breatharian path and how you deal with finances.
That's right.
Now, let's find a good place to sit.
Yes, to talk about this.
Right, because this could be a real interesting subject, and it goes so far of what we're talking about. There's layer after layer, but we're going to make it good and quick here. Because when you're dealing on a Breatharian journey, you said something real key one time about if a person is in financial debt, having financial problems, it can affect their pranic journey.
Absolutely.
Because your body actually gives off hormones when you're in a state of worry, survival, don't know how you're paying your bills, you're dealing with the children and stuff like this. And that's very key when you're trying to live.
That's right. And your mind basically there will be a space in your mind to focus on that, and that will be constantly draining some energy from that part of you, right? Constantly draining a bit because you'll be thinking and focused on that all the time. And this is growing some kind of fear. And when fear is there, love can't be there.
Oh, absolutely. And that right there got you deep in duality, and you'll wake up, instead of seeing the beautiful sun, the beautiful sky, you're thinking about how you're going to get some money.
That's right.
And that's a terrible state to be in.
Oh, yeah.
A terrible cycle, and there's many people who have either experienced it or is experiencing it right now. So, but you know what? When you look at the essentials in life, the basis, they really are not expensive.
No, absolutely not. We think they are. We make up a reality where we believe we need this or this or that sometimes, according also with the background we've been bringing up in, but it's not the reality.
Now, me, I'm from the USA, and this is real key what they said one time about the U.S. debt. They said it's there, and it was created because of emotional spending. Not spending on the things you really need in life, and you got that completed. People are spending money out of their emotions, dealing with wants, getting themselves into debt, and not only as an individual, is hurting the collective. Uh-oh, this is heavy now. So therefore, when we deal with this and we start talking about prana, it's more than just the physical diseases we've been talking about dealing with eating and food. There's also an emotional thing taking place, dealing with external materialism that's also blocking people from prana.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Because that's one of the essentials of life. But when your mind keeps going for things other than yourself, other than your external being, is down in the energy, and a person is decreasing, and you're still waking up with physical ailments,
Yeah.
don't know what's taking place.
That's right.
Your diet, no matter what you're on, is really not helping you. You should have been healed by now, and this is going on and on and on because it separates you from the collective consciousness.
Yes, and when we are there, it's like, it's kind of addictive. We don't realize. I remember when I was myself into debt years ago, it's like you attract more of it if you don't focus on something else or how to be more, how should I say, well, energetically healthy in
Right.
that avenue as well. It's like you kind of attract more and more of that thing. You start having like, I don't know, paying your phone in split payments, or you start doing, this kind of thing. You really don't realize that you put
Right.
yourself more into that because you feel like this frequency is kind of trapping you into it unless you really make an effort to go beyond that.
Now listen at this and what I'm about to say. When I talk about my pranic journey, a lot of people come at me saying, I'm ready to start my pranic journey, and they tell me what diet they on. I've been live and raw. I fasted for 7 days before. That's just how they come at me. My pranic journey started when I made up in my mind that I'm going to work a job or get me a livelihood, that if I have to go past chasing money that hard, if I can't afford it, I don't need it. I made a declaration to take my time over hurting myself chasing materialism.
I did the same thing. I learned myself to have this, different perspective over time and work so that I could create another reality and I could focus on being healthy in all areas of life. Not just
Right.
working on the diet, because the reality is when you work on all those other areas, the diet again comes as a byproduct.
Right, as a byproduct.
Yes, not having to think about paying all those things. And at some point I started really lowering my expenses as close as possible to zero, and it is possible if you really think about it, and if you exchange your talents with other people for, let's say I had someone paying for my rent at some point, but I
Right.
didn't ask for anything, I was exchanging services. But this freed so much space into my mind, knowing that I didn't have to pay for rent and bills, but I could exchange this with my talents, helping with the laundry, with
Right.
the cleaning, all of that. That led me to naturally want to eat live and raw. I didn't have to think or force myself into it. It was natural.
It was natural.
Because that's the frequency.
If you think about the holistic lifestyle, this is what I learned. It ain't about how much money you make, it's how you spend and save the money you already make.
Absolutely. Very, very key. People are chasing how to get more, but they don't realize what they already have and how they manage what they already have.
Exactly.
It's the key. That's the foundation.
So actually going on a higher level diet change, you should save more money.
Yes.
When I became live and raw, you'd be surprised how many sales they got at the grocery store. When the produce is about to go, you can get a lot more. Now you have to eat it right then and there, but that was cool. I just had to make more stops to the grocery store, but the food was available, it was cheaper because they didn't want it to spoil. You understand? And then when you don't want to overeat, you're caring about your health, you're going to save more money. So I had more money to spend on doing things I really wanted to do instead of overeating, losing a lot of money, and then it's affecting your health. And in the long run, you're really going to lose a lot more money seeing a doctor,
Yeah.
getting these doctor's appointments, spending it on medication, got to spend all these memberships at the gym. I could go on and on and on. It's not a good sight at all. It's expensive to die. It's expensive to spend all that money on neglecting yourself.
That's correct, yeah. And the opposite is when you live into that, well, we could say pranic consciousness, which is
Oh my
really
gosh.
a whole other level.
We're about to open it up.
Well, yes, exactly. It's completely different. I'll just give you an example. We went into walking this afternoon like we always do. I mean, that's our life. A constant retreat, a constant meditation in everything we do, and everywhere we go is like an opportunity to meditate more
Right.
on our lives. But guess what? If you saw the previous video, I found a violin, and in my mind, I wanted to be able to play again, right? But I didn't expect anything. We just walked. So that music shop, went into it, asked, do you have violins? And there it was. They show us a violin.
Good price there.
Yes, the price was like really cheap. And guess what? At the same moment, I received an email saying you have that sale coming in, meaning that it was, way beyond the price of the violins. I was like, wow, look, the universe is just helping you
Go get it.
to go and get it.
Now this is the concept we're trying to say.
Yeah.
We're transceivers of energy. When you have less toxicity or none at all in your body, you will attract things to you more quicker.
Absolutely. And you don't have to think about manifesting, thinking this and that, saying
You don't.
so many words, you know, like some people say.
The opportunity will always be there.
That's right. It's not a work at all, apart from cleaning yourself and being healthy yourself, working on yourself, basically.
So when I made up in my mind on the pranic journey to put me first, I've accumulated more on this 19-year journey than I've ever imaginable.
Absolutely.
Because my center becomes first, and you don't even have to want, ask, pray, beg, because that's what praying is. You're begging.
That's true.
Begging the creation.
Yes.
Can I please have? That's not even it.
Yeah.
It will give you your life desire because that's what we're living in. We are creatures of pleasures and habits, but when you're on the right frequency, these pleasures and habits, this is why I always say, we're living in heaven, which is a high state of consciousness.
That's right.
But this is your own personal self-realization that you have to get into.
Absolutely, yeah. And you feel this flow because it's constantly like, you know, you receive that because it allows you to give more, to give better, to give to more
let's
people.
get into that.
It's always like that, a constant flow of energy that you give and receive.
Now, we were just in a rebirthing retreat,
Yeah.
and they gave us these shirts
That's
as a
right,
gift.
yes. Oh yeah.
Now, this is a goddess. What's her name?
Oh, Lakshmi,
Lakshmi.
and the other one is Annapurna.
Now, Annapurna is the god of food,
Yes.
but she gives food to people. Now, listen at this. And it's so much food that the well never go dry, but she's always giving it away.
That's right. Yeah.
And she always has it to give.
Yes.
Now, food is another word for energy. When you're on the pranic journey, you get off the denser foods, you still are feeding, but you're feeding from other sources. And it's always giving you this
Exactly.
energy.
Same thing.
This is why people, when they look at me living on pranic, he got a lot of energy.
That's
You're
true.
supposed to.
That's right. Yes.
So we're dealing with this goddess on a mythical thing, but we made it become a reality. It's always given to us.
Yes.
And the thing about it, when you deal with Lakshmi, she don't want to just stay in one person's hand.
She gotta move.
She has to move, so she goes to hand in hand.
Yeah,
So
and
stop trying to hold on to things, hoard things, and hoard money. Start giving, and you will see that this cycle would take place to keep giving you more. I just had to clean out my suitcase again
Yes, same. Mhm.
because I got so much accumulated, so I start giving it to other people, and then things keep coming to
Exactly.
it. This is the type of life I'm living.
That's something you want to do as well in your house. I know so many people, they just collect things, collect antiquities over the years.
Right.
But really you want things to flow and to move. That's energy.
That's
So
all what it's all
it
about.
shouldn't be stagnant.
So it's not about how much money you get. You already have access to money. It's just a currency. Just let the energy flow and live your life destiny and also bless other people. Like she said, thank you, Ellie Tom. I didn't buy it, but thank you for taking part in this experience.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about when you see other people happy also, and we just keep giving on many different levels, many different frequencies, and it's a cycle that don't end. But when you start hoarding things again, or just chasing money, I tell people don't chase money. Chase your desire of how you really want to live at a higher vibration and tune your body to be there. This is an instrument. Those days that's neglecting the body, that was the old spirituality.
Yeah. Mhm.
This is the
Sacrificing
equipment
the
that you
body.
in.
Yeah.
Upgrade the equipment and watch these things work for you.
Because really, again, it's all about the physical aspect. There's nothing mystical
Right.
so much. It's really about once you work with your physical body and you train that every single day consistently with all your discipline, compassion and love and care for yourself, the mystical aspect is going to come, but like, if we can call it this way really, but
Right, you're
the
right.
energy is going to be like coming this way and you will be like in this frequency of unlimited abundance.
And a lot of
constant
people are scared of the physical because of what just happened.
Yes.
When you look at us, you're looking at beings of light, no separation. When you look at us, you're looking at a spirit. Any term you want to use, we are the creative forces manifested, walking in this realm. So again, we're living a life by coming into this awareness. We don't have no problems. We have increased stimuli that comes with the territory, so we can learn from it. But we always go through it. We're always successful. And it's a beautiful thing where you can understand that we are exploring this beautiful consciousness that we're in.
Yes. And sure, it could be scary at the beginning. Like for me, I didn't want to let go of the last flat I had. I still wanted to hang on to it because it was comfortable. I was getting used to it. I had the gym next to it, the beach. But see, when you start to accept that it's possible to have even better and more aligned to you,
right,
then you start seeing that there's no end to better, to more aligned to your mission, to the next level. Basically, you want to keep evolving also on that path.
So now you can change the. Now listen at this. Let's look at money, and it goes with the moon frequency. You understand? It's a magnetism, but the moon frequency, the woman frequency. That's not talking about the women are being bad. It's Mother Earth is grounded within the physical. But when you follow the other frequency of the brighter light, which is the sun, all you have to do is stay in the light, and the moon frequency always trails the light. See, when you chase the moon frequency only, you're going to run into problems. It'll keep leading you back into the earth as a low dense frequency. You stay into the light because the moon, the magnetism, always follows the electric, which is the sun, which is the light. Uh-oh, did I just say that?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Figure it out. You might got to play that one over and over again.
Yes.
So I decided to live my life in the light no matter what.
That's right.
And the moon frequency of money will always follow the light. That's what it does.
Yes.
But when you take yourself out of that and try to follow the moon, that's where you run into problems.
Exactly. It makes me think about when you do this Qigong pose, which is standing like a tree, we just like let our body basically in this position and the energy flows. And it's a bit like that. You don't want to you don't want to actually do anything specific, but be in that light and receive it. Because that's how it works. Sometimes we try to control and and that's in the flow. It doesn't flow so well when you do that.
And just by receiving it, you're exercising that Shakti, that female principle. Just let go, surrender to the universe. And this is what living on prana is all about. All those things will come to you. You will come into your destiny. And those finances to fulfill your destiny will automatically be there.
Yes, and again, even if it seems not easy at the beginning to just surrender and have faith.
It's a process.
Yes, if you do little at a time, okay, like, really trust into like, you go out and walk in a place you've never walked and see what happens. Talk to someone you've never talked to and see what happens. And I promise, miracles gonna happen. Just starting
absolutely.
This way. Just a little step.
And we call them miracles now because you ain't used to them.
That's right.
For us, this is an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, that's right.
When people ask me, how was your day? Where do you want me to begin?
Yeah, sure.
Right. It ain't even no miracle no more. It's supposed to happen that way. So this is a whole nother ball game. And to come up out of living this pranic lifestyle, when people say, don't you miss this and miss that, there's no way in the world I want to go back being a dense frequency. That was a nightmare. When you come into this, you know you crossed over. That's what it's all about. And once you cross over, don't look back. It's like a jack in a box. Keep going forward and keep growing and keep seeing this adventure unfold as we keep on this pranic path.
Absolutely.
So this is beautiful once again. She got her new violin.
Your new baby.
She can play too, so we're going to put her on here soon. She's going to practice up a little bit. But this is awesome again. And we love you. We hope you got a lot out of this. And stay strong and keep on the path.
Catch you up later.
Mwah.
Bye.